Crazy crab in the house. All right. I finally went to check it out. The Last Jedi. I saw it. Oh man, it's on my eye. I saw it for the second time.
Oh God! Oh God! Oh!
I saw it for the second time. You're probably thinking, "What are you talking about? It's been out forever." It took this long, and what movie other than Star Wars would anyone go to watch and absolutely hate it or think it's horrible or just really not like it, and then the next day they take a bunch of money and run out to go watch it again? That is, other than Star Wars, that doesn't happen. And it wasn't happening for me. There was no way I was going to go see that movie again. I just kind of let it sit in my mind, process. I watched reviews, and I was planning to go see it again to make this video, and it took me this long. Luckily, it was still out in the dollar theater, so I was able to catch it just at the end of its run here. It's going to about to come out on Blu-ray, so was able to see it at the dollar theater. And I guess you can consider it kind of a fresh look at it. It's been a while, and excuse me, just 1 second. I'm sorry, my dinner's ready. Just give me 1 second. Hey, 1 second. Oh, okay. Hold on. Sorry. Yeah, I've read a lot. I've read a lot of positive and heard a lot of positive reviews, negative reviews, and I thought it was time for me to go watch it again and see my thoughts, see if I liked it a little more, liked it a little worse. I actually thought I would like it a little more because I thought that because I didn't have the high expectations I had before, and I figured hey, it's probably gonna kind of grow on me a little bit, and it didn't. It was bad. It was bad, man. It sucked. It sucked. Really sucks. But it's just not a good movie to me. Not my kind of movie. I didn't like it. Just simply didn't like it. Didn't like it. Nothing wrong with it if you liked it, but I didn't like it. Didn't like the movie, and my original review pretty much covered why. Just the style of movie, and there was even more stuff I caught this time. It's like they just really treat us like morons. I mean, the it just really felt like and just very lazy screenwriting. Everything's done for convenience of the plot over and over and over. And I'm not going to go on forever. I can come up with examples, and I just don't know, what to say about it. I think there's more than enough videos out there that explain the problems with this movie. Humor, just bad. I walked into the theater and it was a little bit late, and the first thing I see is Poe is calling Hux and making the joke is like, I'll hold. Hux is, just making him look stupid and he, holding for your mom. Yeah, your mother joke in Star Wars. Really bad, really bad, really painful stuff to watch. Um, it wasn't as good. I think part of it also, I didn't think about this until after watching it the second time, but any kind of just seeing Luke Skywalker on screen was just so thrilling the first time. Seeing Mark Hamill, and also just the adrenaline of going to the new Star Wars movie and being completely pumped for it. All that was there, making the good parts, the parts I enjoyed, even better because I was so ready for it. Like all the scenes that I liked were just awesome. But this time it wasn't like that. I still like the scenes that I liked, and I still think they're cool. So it wasn't horrible from beginning to end. In fact, there's a lot of good scenes. There's a lot of scenes I like, but they don't last as long. And if I was to just take out the scenes I liked, it'd probably be a much shorter, much shorter movie. But as it turned out, most of it I don't like. Most of it is annoying. Most of it's just not my cup of tea, and I didn't like it. But there were a couple things I paid attention to that I did not really notice the first time, but I heard them in YouTube videos. Some criticisms that I heard, I thought, okay, I need to really focus and pay attention to see if those are legit criticisms because I didn't want to get that in my mind that that's something stupid about the movie when maybe it wasn't. One of the criticism was when people talk about Ray, they call her a Mary Sue. I may make a video just on that. Like, is Ray a Mary Sue? And in my opinion, she definitely is Mary Sue-ish, but she's not a Mary Sue because she does have lots of shortcomings that are shown. And one of the things that people said was she's such a Mary Sue. She even took out Luke Skywalker. She even beat him up. The most, the greatest Jedi of all time. She didn't have no problems with him. And I remember they were fighting with sticks. They were kind of, which was a cool scene because there was like lightsabers, but it wasn't lightsabers. I thought that was a good idea. But then she ends up grabbing the lightsaber, and that's when she kind of takes over and I guess wins the fight. But that's kind of cheating. But anyway, I thought to myself, was she really dominating Luke Skywalker? Luke Skywalker she was child's play to him. He wasn't having, from what I saw, the last time at the Dollar Theater, it looked like he didn't have any problems with her. He kicked her down. He was just toying with her until she grabbed the lightsaber. And that point was when obviously Luke Skywalker was on the ground, like, kind of defeated there because what's he going to do against a lightsaber? Understandably, I mean, maybe he could have done something against the lightsaber against that girl, maybe in his prime, but he's obviously been on this freaking island forever. He's probably a little rusty. And once she took the lightsaber, he was down and like, okay. But bottom line is, I think that Luke Skywalker proved in that scene that he could take her out, in a fair fight. And also, I wish that scene went even a little longer with the sticks. I think that's a cool idea. One of the criticisms, and I kind of agree that this movie didn't have any lightsaber on lightsaber battles. It was only the lightsabers against the guards of Snoke's guards, or it was something like this where they were fighting with sticks or lightsaber just a standoff at the end when Luke wasn't even there and the lightsabers never actually connected. But nevertheless, I think that was a cool idea to have Luke and Ray going at it with sticks like that on the island. The island didn't feel like, a Jedi battle. It felt like just everything was raw there, and I thought that was cool, and I wish it went a little longer. Um, but I understand why it didn't. I mean, they weren't actually like fighting like enemies. They were just fighting because Ray was pissed off and just went after him, and she ends up leaving the island there. The other thing people said was when they talked about Yoda, who was acting silly at first. He was, like all excited when he was burning down the tree. Absolutely, that was pretty weird because, as we recall in Empire Strikes Back, the only reason he was acting weird like that or funny because he was kind of fooling Luke. But and people say, well, he was acting funny like that in the Last Jedi. Why was he? He was not his personality, and I agree, it wasn't his personality when he was doing that. But I watched, and he didn't act like that the whole time, and he acted like that at the beginning when he first struck down the lightning, and then he acted kind of funny a couple more times. Page turners, they're not. But shortly after that, he got serious, and we pretty much saw Yoda as we remember, more or less. It was Yoda's personality. What do you know? We got the prequel Yoda, we got the original Yoda, and now we got the Last Jedi Yoda. They're almost all different, but I think that he wasn't too bad. Once he got over his little excitement, acting silly when he burned down the tree, then he was okay. So I just wanted to throw a couple things out there to defend the movie because just because I didn't like it doesn't mean that I'm just going to say every aspect of it sucked and it just was horrible trash from beginning to end, because I don't think that. I think there was a lot of really cool scenes. And there was a lot of stuff I didn't have a problem with. Like I said in my review, I still didn't have a problem with Luke throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder. I thought it was funny. I thought it fit. I didn't have a problem with how Rey found out about her parents. I thought it was really cool. I didn't have a problem with the majority of the Snoke scene where Rey and Kylo are in there, and the Snoke death scene. Actually, that's probably my favorite scene in the movie. I've told people, I've mentioned in my review the one thing I had a problem with, and it was even more it's just something that just annoys me personally, which was the how he said, turn your lightsaber and strike down your enemy, like, avoiding saying like specifically who to kill because we know what's really happening here. It's for us. And I don't like when things are made for us that's obviously for us that wouldn't really be said or wouldn't really happen that way. And that just looked kind of obvious what he was trying to make happen. And I can't even really put into words. Either you know what I'm saying or you don't know what I'm saying. And if you know what I'm saying, if you know what it was annoying about it to me, then I think that we're fine. If you don't get it, what was annoying about it to me, then that's fine too because it wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. I'm being a little nitpicky about it, but I think it just bothered me because other than that, I love that scene. I wish there was at least one scene in the film that I'm like, that scene is awesome, beginning to end. I got no problem with it. And I can't say that's true. There's almost every scene, there's at least something I don't like about it. I didn't like the movie. I didn't like the dialogue. I didn't like the way he kept on trying to trick us. I didn't like Holdo at all. I didn't like that she was acting unlikable intentionally for us so that they can shock us and show that, oh, she actually had it under control the whole time. I don't like that. If you're going to make a hero, if you're going to make someone, who's ends up being a great hero, a good person, why don't you make them likable so that we like them instead of making them unlikable just so you can trick us? Okay, not appreciated. But that's all. I really got nothing else for it. This is a movie that I don't like, and whenever eventually I do my, rankings, it's going to be near the bottom, if not at the bottom. I don't know. I could almost, I'm almost certain that there are some prequels that will actually beat this one out, which I can't even believe I'm saying. I never could imagine that the prequels would be beating out some of these new Star Wars movies, these new Disney era Star Wars movies, at least this quickly. Episode 8, already we have one that I feel like is worse than the prequels. That's just sad, man. That's just sad. So that's the situation, and I'm not going to go buy this one on Blu-ray. There's no way I'm going to spend money on this one. I'm going to wait, and I really hope episode 9 is good, because if episode 9, if J.J. Abrams can pull off an episode 9 that's decent, doesn't have to be great, but if it's just decent and it's watchable, it's enjoyable, and it doesn't have major problems all over the place, and it's not a total mess, if he can manage that, and also, keep, what do we call it, excuse me, continuity. If they can have good continuity with episodes 8 and 7, and make it work, that'd be really cool. And I would like to buy like a trilogy, or even the whole epic, the whole saga, like episodes 1 through 9. Like they'll probably come out with some massive Blu-ray or something that'll have all 9 movies, and that I'd like to have if episode 9 is good. If not, probably won't buy that big saga. We'll probably just be happy with watching the originals occasionally, the prequels occasionally, and episode 7 occasionally. I don't really have any interest to watch episode 8 again. Like, it hurt really bad the first time, and the second time hurt just as much, even though I didn't think that would happen, but it did. So, bottom line is the movie, second viewing, didn't like it anymore. I liked it a little bit less. Still liked the scenes that I did like. Paid attention to a couple of things that I heard criticized on YouTube videos and noticed that they weren't as bad as people made them out to be. And there really wasn't any new scenes that I thought. Well, I'll say that the end when Luke Skywalker, when he's revealed that he's actually still on the island and he was actually there as a force projection. Although I don't necessarily agree with that decision, I wish they wouldn't have done that. I wish Luke Skywalker would have actually been there. I wish that. It doesn't mean that's like makes it a bad movie necessarily, but that's what I wish happened. I don't like what they did with that. I don't like how they made force projection possible. I don't like it, but I can live with it. So, having accepted that that's how it happens in this film, watching it again the second time, I did like the way they did it. I thought it was pretty good. Music came in at the right time. The everything seemed to work nicely to show us what was happening there, and it was actually a pretty cool moment. I could see that if it wasn't Star Wars, if it was just another movie, like another science fiction movie where anything goes, we don't know anything about the Force and anything goes, and they decide that this is possible in this movie to do something like that, it would have been really cool. I admit that it would have been cool, but because it is a Star Wars movie and the Force has existed for a long time in movies, we know how things work. I didn't like it because I feel like Ryan Johnson just went in there and decided he can do whatever he wanted, and I don't like the direction that it's going. So I mean, I'll see it again, right? Star Wars. I'll see it again. It was good enough to see again someday. It's good enough to see again someday because there are some good scenes. I really love Rey. I really like Kylo. I really like a lot of the characters. So I'll look forward to 9. I'm looking forward to episode 9. If it was Ryan Johnson doing episode 9, honestly I wouldn't be looking forward to it. I'd be like, oh gosh. But J.J. Abrams is back. I'm not that I loved episode 7, because I sure did not, but I'd rather have episode 7 director than the episode 8 director. So looking forward to 9, looking forward to Solo, looking forward to what Star Wars has to come for now. But more trash like this, and absolutely, there'll be a day where I'm just going to be like, I'm out.